But that is a man who desperately wants to say, fuck. D-A-N-G-E-R-F-I-E-L-D, Dangerfield. Hello there. Now, I just need to explain something very quickly. After I recorded this, as much as I'd like to blame technology, it was probably my fault. The recording of the dragons and the picture was much lower than my voice. So I had to do a lot of fiddling around to bring their voices up, which also meant, because my mic was dropping in and out at certain places, there's a couple of rough sort of cuts. It won't spoil your enjoyment of it, but knowing why might prevent you fiddling around with your volume and thinking, what's going on here? It was my fault. It is in the tape, but it's a cracking. This one's a great analysis of the picture of how his personality is so entwined with his product. He's kind of lost the ability to see the difference. So I hope you enjoy it. Yes, it's another of my hugely successful Dragon's Den reaction videos. I haven't seen this, I know nothing about it, but before we start, do us a favour, give it a thumbs up. I cannot overestimate the effect it has on the channel. That's why all YouTubers ask. It takes you less than a second, blink, and if it helps the channel, then I'll make more videos. It's that simple. Lovely. I know nothing about this video. Let's dive in. Hit it. Phil Mitchell. Ballantyne. I can tell by the shoulder pad in the background. Hilary Dubé. She died suddenly, you know. Everyone dies suddenly. I mean, even if it took years to get there, it's sudden at the end, isn't it? Yeah, that's not that nice to talk about.
Hello, my name's Alan Pearson.
Strange little sort of an acknowledgement that it's a surreal situation to find himself in. I like that.
I'm a sign manufacturer from Teesside, and I have two products.
That posture, I mean, that's a weird choice of not a power stance. I think he's perhaps leaning on one of his products, and he's got to up his interest. He's trying to sell something. He's already bored, and if he's bored, how does he think I feel?
Here that I'm going to pitch to you. I have the first, which is street nameplates.
Now look, okay, so someone has to make them, someone has to buy them, which means someone has to sell them. But you have to work to your strengths, not illuminate, not magnify your weaknesses. Imagine having it covered up. He shouldn't have had that covered up, because then it looked like a reveal. And we only reveal things when we want to hide something special. You know, like magicians. Da-da! And it's a lady in spangly attire. But first thing we've got is a road nameplate. No, he should have had that showing, and he should have said something along the lines of, it's not that, you know, we see them every day. They're on every road. The market's massive. Go in with your strength. These are on every street in the country and most of the developed world. That's where you go in at. You don't drag a curtain off of it and go, first one's a street nameplate.
And the second is
I mean, you know, Deborah knows that that's rubbish. You know, it's boring. It's not appealing.
New product called String Base.
Scrim base, that's good.
The street nameplates, it's a recycled plastic product and recyclable plastic product.
Dubé's gone to sleep. Is it Dubé or Duvet? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Look at her. She's a kit. She's been on a bit of what Deborah's on last reaction video. Look at that. Look what he's done to that poor woman. She spent a lot of money on that makeup, hairdo, and 1984 Dynasty American oil drama. What's it? Blazer. And he's made her do that. Shocking. He took all that glory away from her. This company has broken this man. It's taken his life force from him. It's drained him. Now, that doesn't mean he ain't making money, but, you know, money ain't everything. Au contraire. I mean, look, his life is around road signs and scrim bases, which I don't know what is. I'm guessing it's something to do with the road signs or something like that. But look, he's on his last legs. Psychologically, he's on his last legs with his existence.
We've been selling around £100,000 worth of them a year.
It's terrible revenue. 100 grand a year, net profit 15,000. Oof. And it's made from recycled parts, which means it's going to be costing him more to produce. Because that's the con with recycling. One of the many.
And the other product I have is something that I've developed off the back of this product. One of my councils I was selling to was putting a concrete base around the bottom of the street nameplate. It's cheap.
Jesus. Come on, mate. I've got to try and entertain here as well. Dragon's Court. How very hilarious.
But to do that in the long term, then actually trim round them. So I came up with a product that could be mowed over, will stop the grass growing around the posts.
I mean, I'm thinking of his wife, his non-existent wife, his divorced wife, who ran off with the first bloke who smiled at her. You know, this is desperate. This is making me sad.
And
it was at that moment he realised the absolute state of his life. He just thought, hang on, I'm being dangled on national television because my company is going down the pan and I'm on the ponce for a few quid because my 100 grand a year street signs business is failing.
Is that it?
Sorry, I'm looking for £100,000. I'm looking for a 10% to give a 10% equity.
Hang on, you want a year's turnover for 10% of your business. You value your 100 grand a year business at £1 million. You need to get some new street signs made up that tell you how to get back to reality.
In the company for £100,000. Thank you very much.
An understated pitch.
That's a polite way of saying it. Listen to this. On one of my websites once, I decided to put a live chat box. I thought, you know, if customers are there, they're ready to buy. If they've got as far as a product page, they're ready to buy. I think I said this in the last... I said it on a stream I'd done on marketing. But if a person is on your product page, all your photos and product copy can do is fail to sell them, is to send them away. They're ready to buy. They just want you to tell them to. And what he's done here... Apologies, I had a terrible brain freeze. I thought, why am I talking about that? But, so I had this live chat because I thought, well, if they're there, if they're on the product page, I'll be notified and I can engage them. Or, you've all seen it on websites, a little box pops up. Is there anything I can help you with? Most of the time they're bots, and you'll find out why. I mean, with the recent AI explosion, you're not going to know they're bots. But, so I thought, this will be brilliant. They'll say, yeah, I was just wondering about this, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll be able to say, oh, yeah, fantastic, you know. have a load of canned responses ready, cut and paste, blah, blah, blah. I set that live, and within about 20 minutes, I had 8 customers, potential customers, in these chat boxes, right? It was like when you see those demonstrations where a bloke plays 10 games of chess at once. I was like, but interestingly, within about 2 or 3 minutes, every single one of those chat boxes was well away from buying products from my website. They were talking about their divorce. They were talking about their kids don't love them. They were talking about their business failing. One of them I had to talk to the Samaritans. He was like thinking about ending it. I just thought, wow, wow. Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
From nervy Teessider Alan Pearson. He's looking for a cash investment in his new business, specialising in street signs and a maintenance-friendly accessory.
Maintenance-friendly accessory, it's just so boring. Now, very, very successful businesses, huge companies sell boring things. But you've got to learn how to sell those products. And you don't do it by selling those products. That's what marketing is. Marketing is working out how to get someone to buy something by offering something that is not the product.
Deborah Meaden is in need of some clarity.
That's why branding is so important. Branding will make someone buy something they neither want nor need.
What I'd like to understand is what your business looks like at the moment, because I think you said that you sold £100,000 worth of this product, but that kind of implies there's another business that's sitting behind all of this.
Yeah, this would form a new business.
Okay, so we've seen this on The Den many times. He's got another business doing very well. Right, I reckon that's what happens here. It's one of two things. He's got another business doing exceptionally well or exceptionally bad, and he started a little subcategory of that business where he wants someone else to take the financial risk.
I have an
which is why old Paphitis there is shaking his head, because he knows that as well.
existing business Ensign, which is sign manufacturing.
So the business that you've currently got, I mean, is it profitable?
Yes. The turnover this year was around about £800,000, and it was we made a good profit. So
he turns over 800 grand, 800,000, with his other business. So he's probably making, I don't know what the markup is, maybe about 150 grand a year. Nice wage when you're a director and you've delegated most of the work out. So why does he want 100 grand? He wants their connections. But there's something fishy going on here.
A good profit. Mm. What's a good profit?
Well, yeah.
This is really that is a really worrying distraction.
I'd rather not. That's. We're looking at this year. We made about 60,000.
What? Wow! Net profits. And I tell you this every video. I tell you this: the amount of turnover is vanity, profit is sanity. 800 grand's worth of whatever his other company sells, which sounds like another sign-based business, and he ends up with 60k profit. Now he's probably paying himself a decent wage out of that. But 60 grand, that's turning over not short of $1 million. Think of the admin, think of the staff, the accountants, the bookkeepers, the marketing, the blah 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 blah. And at the end of the year, he's got 60 grand in the bank. Well, no, but an additional 60 grand in the bank, shall we say?
The £800,000 net profit, £60,000. Park that business to one side, and this product here that you sold £100,000 of. How much profit did that make?
I reckon 15 or nothing.
We'd be looking at about 60,000 gross.
Yeah. Gross is a weird one. Why would you? If you say to someone what profit you making and they say gross, that means you've now got to ask them another question. Okay, what about net? Because gross means nothing to me, because I don't know how much your staffing costs are, your marketing costs are, your suppliers' costs are. So the next question, the question that always follows gross profit is, what's your net profit? Tell us what it's actually making. And when people come in with gross, there's usually a reason.
Right, so presumably you've got accounts.
Yes.
So what do those accounts you say?
Well, this is part of the Ensign business at the moment. This is part of Ensign.
Yeah, and all this complicated, it's part of it. I'm looking at selling, you know, it's not only is it confusing, but there's usually kind of, you know, what's the saying? Is it, you know, it's sort of like smoke and mirrors, isn't it? Why are you doing all that? Why not have two separate companies? Why not have one company? Why is it like all odd? There's usually a bit of deception going on.
So you've got a new product sitting inside your existing sign business. Now I'm really interested to understand why you've decided to take these out of your existing business.
Because I think that these products would be an interest to you. The sign business, standing on its own, doesn't need the investment.
Just so you know, investing in a business that has a proven track record and is making a profit is always of interest to a dragon.
An awkward first exchange from the tongue-tied entrepreneur.
That's actually a lie, because not 60k it ain't.
Will he fare any better under questioning from Peter Jones?
Jones has spent that on brass this year.
I think it's quite appropriate that you brought in a sign with Dragon's Court on it.
Yeah.
Because if I was a judge,
Yeah.
I'd be sentencing you to making probably the worst presentation that I've ever seen.
I mean, Jonesy doesn't have to be clever. He's earned the right to say anything and people love him for it. But that's cutting. You've been sentenced to the worst pitch I've ever seen. And he's seen a few. And look how our friend here responds. He's not disheartened. He's not shocked. He's not even upset. Because that is the tone of his life. That is the tone of our man and his sign business. It's a life that just has never really got off the ground. You know, if someone said that to you about your passion, like if someone said that to me about my writing, you know what? I think you're one, and someone who knew about writing as well, someone I respected, you know, someone who had a similar relationship to me that this fella's got to Jonesy, and they went, you know what? I think you're one of the worst writers I've ever read. I'd be like, okay, you know. I even felt, you know, that my mouth go down at the side then, that sort of almost childhood, innocent sort of, you know, nearly starting crying. But that face, this bloke's expression is like, yeah, this is actually the story of my life. I am a failure. And that's disheartening, because he's actually not. But he's told himself that story. And because he's told, you know, he's got a successful business. He's paying himself a wage. There's 60,000. It's not a massive business, you know, but he ain't working for anyone else. He's the boss. He wakes up when he wants. He doesn't wake up to an alarm clock. You know, but he's told himself he's a failure. That's the story he's repeatedly told himself. So when anyone else says something like that to him, it reverberates with him. It increases the weight of that story, the gravity of that story. Look, and he's just responded sort of like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, middle-aged divorcee, kids don't talk to me, haven't had sex in 8 years. That's me, yeah. And it doesn't need to be like that. That's a tragedy. It does not need to be like that. He could be having a great life, but he's told himself a story again and again.
Is there a reason why your pitch was so slapdash, amazingly average? There seems to be a lot more there.
I had it all in my head when I came up the stairs, Peter, and it all fell apart as soon as I got to the top of the stairs, really.
Can we start again? And I just want to see whether you're at all interested in engaging in a conversation that actually says, I'm willing to change my pitch, and you can invest in the overall business and have a slice of the overall business rather than the separation of products.
Yeah.
Now, before they get on to that, just something I want to say about public speaking and especially pitching things. And this also goes for going for job interviews. Don't rehearse a script. It puts you at such an immediate disadvantage that will nearly always fail. It puts so much pressure on you. You know, you're now acting. Are you an actor? I mean, maybe you're going for a job as an actor, then fair enough. But even then, you don't really want to be acting in it. Don't rehearse a script. Don't write it and sit there and go, hi, my name's Chris Dangerfield, and I think I'll be good for this job because in 1982 I won the Scouts Bronze Award for Best Pancake. It's ridiculous. Take all that pressure off, go in there, and Peter Jones used the right word then, a conversation. Go in there and talk to them about what you've got. Talk to them about what you've achieved, what's on offer, what you can do, because then you haven't got to remember anything because you've lived it. You've lived it. One of the things in marketing about word of mouth is when you deal with customers, when your customer service team deals with customers, make the customer the hero of a story. This is cutting edge marketing at the moment. Because they'll remember it, because we remember stories. And that way, even if you've made a mistake, you can make them the hero of a story. And then they'll go away and 5-10 years later, they'll still remember that. You remember stories from when you were 2 or 3 years old, don't you? What else do you remember from when you were 2 or 3 years old? Very little. And so 4, 5, 6, 7 years down the line, someone might, imagine you sell, recycled furniture made out of aeroplanes, recycled aeroplane part furniture. And 5 years down the line, one of your mates does well, buys a nice new house and says, yeah, I'm getting an interior designer to come in and, what do you reckon would look nice in? You go, I'll tell you what, there's this company and they recycle the seats and the engines off of old, consumer jets. And they got some lovely stuff. And you remembered that from 5 years ago because it's a story. And what Jones has actually said to this bloke is, in other words, drop the pitch, drop the presentation. Let's talk about what's on offer and what we might be able to do here. So although it seemed brutal the way Peter addressed him there, he's actually given him not just a lifeline, but the right lifeline, the one that can save this. Now, I'm not saying it will. I mean, do any of the dragons really need to get involved in street signs? It's not a sexy business, is it? Money is quite sexy though, but even then, there's not a lot of it here, is there? Okay.
Yes, I would.
So Jonesy says, are you prepared to have a conversation involving both businesses? Yes, I would. He should have jumped on that. Yes, I would. Okay, well, the first business, I'm not saying be me. I'm not saying be all hyperactive and nuts. But just go for it. This is important. You want £100,000 of these people's money.
Okay. So let's talk about the future.
Duvet's having trouble staying awake.
If things go according to plan, based around the current business you've got, what is your current forecast for the next 12 months?
Well, I would expect to turn over 1.1 million pounds.
What do you think your gross profit will be?
I'd be looking at 100 to 120 gross.
Gross?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, net, sorry.
Yeah, what's your gross?
Gross.
I mean, 120 net, that ain't bad. I'm assuming he's paid himself a wage out of that, he'll probably try and keep it out of the higher tax bracket because it's kind of not worth it until you get up to about $250,000. So he's probably taking home something like 80 grand a year and then chucking that profit of 120 in the bank. That's all right. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that at all.
If you take the average of the last 3 years, in percentage terms, what have you made gross profit in percentage margin?
We make around about 100%.
You can't.
With overheads and costs. Gross
Markup.
Sorry.
Margin or markup?
So your gross margin is around 50%?
Double what we...
Okay, well that's 50% gross margin.
Yeah.
I mean, he is under pressure here, but there's something not right. He's sick of it. He's sick of this business. That's what it is. And he hasn't got any options. He didn't save, he didn't invest. People invest. I was rich in my 30s. I had more money than I knew what to do with. I was getting suits made for £4,000, handmade shoes like £900 a pair. If I'd have invested even half of the money I spent in my 30s, I'd done 150 grand on Chinese prostitutes in about 18 months. Not all bad, but had I invested half of that money then, I wouldn't still be working today. Not a chance. And I know that because I've had a look at the charts and I know what I'd have invested in then. So if you're in your 30s and business is going well, get it on those S&P trackers.
The proposition may have changed, but Alan's nerves have yet to settle.
It's not nerves. He's finding it hard to motivate himself. He's bored to death of it. And so are the dragons.
Can Theopophetis make sense of the Teessider's business?
Oh, I had absolute dramas. My mic cut out, so I'm having to stick this on the end. But it should be... and you know what? Of course I said some absolute gems, but we should be right. Let's carry on. We'll glue it together.
The other 700,000, talk me through it.
We're general sign manufacturers and shop signs.
See, look, this is what he should have said. He should have, he should have said, I've got this business. He might have like long-term loyal customers. Oh, we do Manchester United's hoardings. We've got customers we've had for 10, 15, 20 years that come back every year. Blah 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 blah. He had all that, but all this sort of. I think I don't know whether I've already said it because I don't know whether it got cut out, but it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all cloak and dagger. It's all a little bit. I'm trying not to tell you something here.
Van signs.
Do you have any big repeat customer base?
Yeah, we have a number of big customers.
I mean, there you go.
Blue chip.
And okay, this is the other business, but it's social proof. It's business proof.
And you made 60,000 profit. Have you always made a profit?
Yes.
And after your wage, what's your wages?
I take as I need. I don't have a specific amount that I take.
Okay.
So, he's paying himself a wage. We'll let him continue.
As an example, you made 60,000 profit after how much drawings?
I would probably say about 40.
There you go. So 40. I mean, it's probably 50 because you can get about 12 grand before tax anyway. You get a pre-tax allowance. So 60 odd grand in the coffers. He's got enough money to live on. Probably owns his house. No problem. But there is something suspicious.
Alan, in your company accounts, every year at the end of the year, you have to state what salary you've taken. Okay, so you must know what it is. You can't just say, I just take this. So what did you take in your last year as a director?
£4,600.
he just averaged it at 40 grand. And so last year it was 4 grand. I mean, to get an average out of that, a couple of years it must have been about 200 grand.
4,600 in the full year.
I thought you said to Theo you took 40,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a director's loan.
I
draw down on.
He didn't mention at all. Now, a director's loan is kind of standard procedure for small to medium enterprise businesses. Very tax efficient to take a loan from your own business. It's tax efficient. It happens. But he didn't mention that. Why didn't he mention that? I'm starting to get an idea why. I think this bloke's company isn't growing. It's not growing. After he's taken his director's loan and then his 4 grand because he needed to go on holiday or something to get away from the hell of his business, there's not enough left to move it to the next level. And you can't survive in business if your company's not growing, because you can bet literally your last dollar that your competitors' businesses are growing, and they'll squeeze you out of that market because they can buy more, they can scale their purchasing, which means they can bring down their prices, they can scale their marketing, which means they can bring down their prices and sell more, they can increase their profit margins, whereas him, he's in trouble, which, why is he in there? He's got his director's loan, he takes money as he needs it, there's 60 grand that goes in the bank at the end of every year. Why does he need 100 grand off them? Because he wants to grow his business. And I will suggest now that his business hasn't grown in the last 10 years. And that's what all this weird sort of, stuff he didn't really want to tell him. He thought he'd walk in there and go, look, we make a bit of money, give us 100 grand, we'll probably make a bit more, yeah? You in?
You've got to clear that.
That's a little bit misleading.
You think so?
Because Theo specifically asked you what you were taking from the business.
Yeah, what I was taking from the business was £40,000 a year.
A minute ago he didn't know. A minute ago he was told to come up with an average, and he went, 40,000. He knew absolutely full well it was 40,000. He's lied to them. He's deceiving them. You can't invest in someone who's already lying to you, because how are you going to trust them in business with your money and your work, your effort, your input?
You've just answered Duncan, £4,000.
No, a wage, 4,000. I've just said I'd take
that's a little disingenuous. Now that...
Oh my God! Right. You see that geezer's expression there? That is the face of a man who, under any other circumstances, i.e. not on telly... Now, if you've got children in the room, cover their ears. But that is a man who desperately wants to say, fuck off. Or more precisely, fuck off, Meaden. If you're in a boozer and a bloke come up to you with that expression, you'll be like, okay, it's on then. Here we go. Look at it. And yet he knows he can't. I'll be interested to see how he dilutes the desire to tell them all, actually, to just fuck off. You've caught me out, now just fuck off. How's he going to release the pressure? Let's see.
That would tell us the information.
He hasn't. He's just sleeping on it now. Look, he's taken that all inside, which is probably what he's done with most of his life, which is why he is where he is. If you've had a business that for 10 years has just not been growing, that's a lot of work to put in to be exactly where you were 10 years ago.
What we glean from that is you're able to draw...
He can't get rid of it. That's been about 4 seconds. That ain't even a micro expression. He's on the cusp of a Tourette's here. Fuck off.
£40,000. And
he had to sleep on it again.
It still makes £60,000 profit.
Yeah.
Now that is a world of difference from a business that actually can only afford £4,000 worth of wages and make £60,000 profit. Because you turn from a business that might have potential to a business that's just about paying your wage.
And there you go, and that's exactly what I said. It's just ticking along. And he's been had. And look, that when I say he's sleeping on it, I mean that. He wants to be asleep. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want reality. That's why people shut their eyes. You'll see it all the time. When you have difficult conversations with people, watch them shut their eyes. Another classic one is people who flicker their eyes. Not in a sort of sexy way, not that was sexy, but they're just sort of, there's the ambivalence of, I know I need to fight this, but at the same time, I just haven't got it in me. He's sleeping on it again.
Alan, your job was to take me down a path that led me to a conclusion that made me want to invest in...
There you go. Let's just get that back again. Hang on, look.
Down a path that led me to a conclusion that made me want...
Fuck off. Look, again. That is an aggressive face.
...to invest in your business. And you haven't done it.
No, you led them all up the garden path.
I appreciate that entirely.
Oh, the story of his life. Good Lord. Self-pity is a killer, people. Self-pity is a killer. And once you accept it, is your default position, you'll struggle to get out of it. If you see self-pity making its way into your life, trust me, only one person put it there, you. The clue's in self-pity. And get the fuck away from it as quickly as you can, because it's a killer. It literally will kill you, or can kill you. And this bloke's just dripping in it. I mean, look, there you go. He smiled then, like, yeah, this is what happens to me. Yeah, I'm boring Steve, the signpost man.
Confusion reigns in the den, and a dazed-looking Alan loses...
Dazed? Dazed and confused in the den?
...is his first dragon. Theo Paphitis is not looking impressed either.
Oi, Paphitis cleaned his teeth. And there you go, our man Alan. He's now ready to smile, ready to laugh again, ready to let the punchline of what Paphitis says be his life, because that's the position he's accepted as his default, that loser mentality. Look, that doesn't look to me like someone who's gutted that a multi-millionaire who could have really helped him is about to blow him out. It's a bloke he's ready to just take it on the chin, because this is how he's set himself up in life.
Alan, in some ways I can forgive you for not knowing all the figures like the back of your hand. But I don't think there was any doubt in your mind the difference between salary and drawings.
I wasn't asked that though, Theo. I was asked what I took out of the business, which is the difference. Yeah, misleading.
Misleading.
Wow, defending it and then attacking himself. Good call, Alan.
You were misleading in your answers.
Intentionally. He was given the option to deceive and he took it.
And actually, a bright little product. Potential. But I'm sorry.
Did you see the mouth go down at the sides? A bright little product. Yeah, you know, these things are everywhere. If you can improve upon your competitors' prices and quality and get those contracts, you know, these things are all over the place. What, road signs? But when he said potential, that's when his mouth went down, because that's what he can't do. He cannot grow his company. It's on its way out. And because he can't grow his company, he hasn't changed his income. And because he hasn't changed his income, his life hasn't changed. And he's blaming that on money, which is very rarely the reason. And it's this is a Shakespearean tragedy.
Sorry to say, you have not covered yourself with too much credibility here today.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. What you appreciate that, do you? Yeah, of course you do, with a little chuckle, because that's me, stupid Alan. Yeah.
So I cannot invest in you, and for that reason, I'm going to say I'm out.
And that is one of the coldest and hardest hitting things you'll ever hear in the den. Invest in people rather than products. Obviously, the product has to have some kind of, you know, potential, but a great product cannot be investable because of the person behind it. If you just think, no, I could not work with you, we'll be at each other's throats night and day. And the opposite is true. A service or product that's not, that you see loads of potential in, well, you might work with them and, you know, bring them round to something else that they can work on where their potential can be maximised.
Okay. And I didn't mean to be misleading. You know, that's something that I had no intention of.
Alan, if you can't come on here and prepare yourself for the interrogation that you know you would get, if you're looking at anybody to invest, they would be asking for this information. So why wasn't you prepared?
Oh, the silence. It's not that he doesn't know, it's that it's just so damn familiar to him.
And secondly...
She didn't even care about the answer because she knows.
How do you hope to grow your business if you can't even motivate yourself
And that's the nub of this whole situation.
to do what should have been the biggest pitch of your life?
Yep.
How on earth do you expect anybody to invest in you, your product, or this company?
Yeah.
You would make my foot itch.
And he's smirking again. You know, she's absolutely smashed him all about the place. She's kicked him up and down those stairs. And he's just smirking. Yeah, that's me, stupid Alan, the signpost man. Doesn't go down too well in wine bars, half pissed on a Friday night, talking to the last lady in the bar. When she says that you make my foot itch, that's an old Scottish saying, if I remember rightly, and it means I want to kick you up the arse. It's great stuff.
Sorry, Alan, it just doesn't go. I'm out.
2 more dragons out, and Alan's chances of investment are looking slim.
And, you know, even though he's got his director's loan and his £4,000 cash, probably owns his house, probably got a nice car, you can, you know, that's all very tax efficient on the business, might have an office from home as well, also nice, and that 60 grand a year doesn't mean he's not working hard, doesn't mean he doesn't have to be there from like 8 in the morning till 9 at night, and that didn't need to be the case. You have to keep growing, year-on-year growth. You know, you can have things like the coof or whatever that might cause a problem, a death in the family, a death of a loved one, you know, life things that affect your ability to run your business as best you can. You can explain away the occasional lack of year-on-year growth, but the general trend has to be year-on-year growth of a significant percentage as well. At least 15, more like 20-30%.
Will Duncan Bannatyne throw him the financial lifeline he badly needs?
I'm going to say no.
I think you would be such hard work, Alan. I just can't understand you and understand how you work. And so for that reason and that reason only,
Look, more laughing, more looking down.
got to say, I'm out.
Alan,
That's just smirkatron.
have you got a business that could be invested in, is the bottom line? And I think there lies the biggest issue, is that it is still a quagmire. And I think the only major mistake that you've made, and you're going to regret this, is not knowing your core business as well as perhaps you should. I can't invest in you.
No defence at the end there, no argument, no attempt to save it, just, yep, that's me. Well, there you go, people. The sad story of Alan and his road signs. There's a lot of lessons in there. If you're going to get into business, learn them now so you don't suffer the consequences of not learning them later. Give us a thumbs up and I'll see you again soon with another one in the Dragon's Den series. Ta-da! Oh, it's not actually time to go, is it? I've actually found something quite interesting. The company accounts aren't worth looking at. They pretty much reflect what he said. You know, he's turning over what he said. He's taking what he said. It's all quite boring. It's not growing. But have a look at this. So I found this on startups.co.uk. Right, this is by Amy Bradshaw. This was written a couple of years ago. After his rough treatment on Dragon's Den, Teesside sign maker Alan Pearson has told startups he, quote, wouldn't have gone on if he'd known how grueling the experience would be. The Stockton-based entrepreneur, who was attacked by the Dragons for his financial acumen and presentation skills, skills is a bit generous there, during last night's episode, says that entering the den went against my better instincts. And, you know, everything he says here, well, actually, I'll come to that. Quote, he said this, I went on to promote my products. I was never selling my business to them. I told Peter Jones my business was included in the package, which was a mistake. Well, why was it a mistake if you didn't even intend to sell them? You used Dragon's Den as an advertising platform, and it backfired spectacularly. And so, you know, you got what you deserved. You know, you don't think they know that happens, and you don't think they can smell that rat as soon as it starts. However, Pearson was quick to defend his pitching ability. Not on the night he wasn't, saying, quote, "It's not got a lot to do with the pitch, it's to do with the edit. It's an entertainment show." Now, yeah, there's some truth in that. There is some truth in that. But I saw a consistency of personality in an 11-minute edit, and apparently they're in there sometimes 2 hours. Apparently it averages between 1 and 2 hours. I've had a couple of mates actually go on there. But, you know, you've either got to be a genius editor, and trust me, editors aren't. All editors are failed camera operators, directors, or apprentice camera operators or directors. To be able to sustain that character type for an 11-minute edit, if he wasn't like that, I'm not buying that. You know, this is just his personality. Blame someone else. It wasn't me. You know. The show was filmed 3 months ago, and Pearson says, "I washed my hands of it back in May. I didn't even watch it last night. It was all crap." Quote, "It was all crap. I felt like a plonker." Well, hang on a minute, Alan. A minute ago you said it was all in the edit. A minute ago you said it's not got a lot to do with the pitch, it's in the edit. But you felt like a plonker. So you felt exactly like you came across. So they edited it correctly. You know, I had good products and I've got a successful business. No, you've got a business that's sort of lolloping along, and you know, soon it's going to scuff the soles off its shoes, and then you're going to be in trouble. And then look at this. This would have been the deal with startups. Pearson's company, Ensigns, turns over more than $1 million a year and offers a range of products in the signage and engraving space. For more information on the company and its products, please click here. Well, we might as well have a look at his website, but that you know, that's pathetic. That's, you know, more contradictory rubbish. And let's have a look at this website. There we go. I'll bring that over so you can see it all. Oh. I mean, look at some of his clients, and I'd probably imagine they are all his clients, you know, because if you've got them coming back every year, that'll turn over $1 million. But it ain't growing. Look, right down here, street plate names. It's just under my head here, look. Street plate names. Alan, what have you done, my son? Ta-da!
Sweet bit, sweet mama, sweet bit, sweet mama, sweet bit, sweet mama. Please, sweet bit, sweet mama, sweet bit, sweet mama, sweet bit, sweet mama. Please, sweet